What's up, guys? Armored Puma 17 coming at you today with a video that I'm really excited about. I've been working on my video series, The Best Weapons in Warzone. Previously, we've focused primarily or exclusively on assault rifles, ARs. We've gone over almost all of them so far. We're going to wrap it up in the next week or two. Today, I'm going to hit you with an SMG class. So we're going to start doing SMGs and how to build SMGs for Warzone. Now, the video that you're about to see has to do with the MP5. It is far and away the meta, maybe with the MP7, but it's one of the only classes where it's got a clear meta, and it has for basically the entire Warzone saga. All the seasons, SMGs, it's been MP5, MP7, with MP5, I think, in the lead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about all the different ways you can load this out, how we're going to approach this, which we're going to use the SMG as a way to really engage in close quarters combat, to clear buildings, to really take people out, within 10 or 20 meters. So I'm going to hop right in it, show you all the different loadouts and what I think is the best one. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, so a couple things before we start these tests. When I look at SMGs, and when most people use SMGs, they're not using them for range. They're really using them for up-close battles, clearing buildings, things like that. So the primary stat, the primary factor that we're looking at is going to be hipfire accuracy. Now that, with some damage and some other things like that, but really primarily we're going to be looking at hipfire accuracy. The reason we're going to look at hipfire accuracy is really this. If you're close enough and you have a gun that has good hipfire accuracy, that's only going to improve when we ADS. So we're not going to focus on the accuracy component quite as much. We're not going to focus on range quite as much. It's really going to be all about hipfire accuracy, and then we're going to build off of that. So let's take the stock MP5 and see what the stock hipfire looks like. All right, let's look at these spreads. This is a pretty realistic, maybe towards the edge of how you would usually hipfire, but it's all over the freaking place. Yeah, all over. So there they are. You're hitting some of those. You're missing a lot. All right, next up. Now, the MP5 has a lot of unique attachments, a lot of different barrels and things like that. The three attachments that I'm going to tell you are must-haves, so starting right now, are the Merc foregrip, the 45 round mag, and the 5 milliwatt laser. Now, the Merc foregrip and the 5 milliwatt laser are the only attachments. Well, they're the only and the best. So there may be a couple within each class, but like the 1 milliwatt laser, for example, will give you a hipfire bonus, but the 5 milliwatt laser gives you a better one. So these two attachments are the best and only ones that you can get to give you good hipfire bonuses. The 45 round mag, I think you've got to have, because sometimes 30 just isn't enough. And I like having extra ammo without having to reload. So especially for these types of situations. So these are the three that we're going to start with. These are the three must-haves. Let's check out our hipfire now. You can notice that the reticle, the crosshair, has already tightened up quite a bit, which means we should get a better spread, but let's see. Okay, there you go. So we've got right here, and right here. Already super awesome. These were stock. Okay. Now, this is this is good. Now, the thing that we're going to look at is how do we build the rest of the gun out with all the different options that we have, because we have three different ways we can finish out this gun. So next, we're going to look at what's going to be the best. Okay, so now we're going to build the rest of the gun out. If you'll remember, the three must-haves are going to be the Merc foregrip, 45 round mag, and the 5 milliwatt laser. They're going to give you the best hipfire bonuses. The first sort of trial loadout that we're going to go with here is, and let me get a different gun to show you guys this. The muzzle attachments for the MP5. Now you've got your regular monolithic suppressor, which is a muzzle attachment and does the same thing as it does with other guns. The barrel is where you really get into unique situations because these bottom three have built-in, and this one may too, but they basically all have built-in suppressors of some sort. So you have a monolithic integral. The FSS Mini has a built-in suppressor as well, I believe. Got to double check that. I think it does. And the subsonic integral suppressor, which has a built-in, obviously, suppressor as well. So trying to figure out which one of those we want to use is going to be, it's going to be key. So here we go. This first one that we're going to go with, we have the subsonic integral suppressor. It doesn't have any bonus to hipfire. None of the barrels are going to have a bonus to hipfire. It's going to be all about accuracy, damage, and range. You can see here that this one blocks the muzzle attachment because it's got one built in. But again, Merc foregrip, 45 round mag, 5 milliwatt laser, and our first trial is going to be the subsonic integral suppressor. All right, there's 2 mags. Let's see how that does. Looks really similar, and that's kind of what we would expect. It's not really hitting the hipfire accuracy. It's hitting sort of your accuracy when you're ADSing, your ADS speed, your movement speed, damage range, things like that. That's what the barrels are going to do. But we get largely the same performance, hipfiring the same distance with the subsonic integral. All right, next up, we've got the monolithic integral suppressor. So exact same setup from the last one with the subsonic. This time we have the monolithic integral suppressor. Again, all about kind of accuracy, range, damage, mobility, some of that stuff, but it shouldn't affect our hipfire too much. All right, there's 2 clips. Let's see how we did. It's, we kind of split hairs here. Might be a little bit hard to tell. I think it performs a little bit better than the subsonic integral. This was definitely tighter. This one, sometimes there is some randomness to some of this stuff. But I would say so far the monolithic integral is performing better than like the subsonic. All right, last one that we're going to try today is the same 3. This time, instead of the barrel attachments that have like an integrated suppressor, we're going to leave the barrel and just go with a plain old monolithic suppressor. This, as you know, helps out with bullet velocity and damage range. Shouldn't really affect the hipfire too much. I'm curious to see if it improves hipfire just because the bullets are moving faster, so they're not getting as spread out. We're running out of real estate here on our wall. We're going to see how this does. All right, so I would say after 2 clips, so you've got right here and you've got right here. Here's your monolithic integral. Here's your subsonic integral, those last 2. I mean, honestly, you're getting very similar spreads, right? Hard to tell. That I would almost say monolithic integral is better. These 2, let's see, 1, 2. These 2 are the monolithic integral, as opposed to no upgraded barrel and the monolithic barrel attachment. So after looking at these, and you guys can do these tests on your own to see what you like better, but after looking at these, what I believe is going to be the best for how I'm going to use this and how I'm going to build this out is the monolithic integral suppressor. All right, guys, so for our field test, this isn't going to be quite the same as we did for the assault rifles. So since we are talking about close quarters combat, hipfire accuracy, and whatnot, I've got set up a couple of targets that I'm going to try to simulate clearing a building or going into a building and running into a couple dudes, maybe a camper, to see maybe with a corner jump, how quickly, how many shots I can put on a target while hip firing. So this isn't quite as realistic, maybe not quite as helpful. This maybe is practice just as much as it is testing, but I want to show you guys kind of what you can do with these close quarter combat loadouts for SMGs and specifically here the MP5. So, if you want to make fun of my test, that's okay. This is kind of an interesting way to test out a gun. But again, what we're trying to look at is this type of situation where you're close quarters, you're trying to clear a place out. The bullet spread we can see, we're landing all of our shots. This is a little bit bigger than a upper torso, but you're still landing 80 or 90% of them, which means this guy very likely is dead all the way. I mean, you can kill this guy. We're going to kill him, we're going to drop him, and then we're going to finish him off when he's knocked, which is super frustrating when you're playing Warzone. But again, the target that we've got up here, I mean, even as we're strafing, try this on your own, see how you do. But it's a very effective gun. I like this loadout. I'm encouraged by this loadout because this is actually what I've been using for quite some time for my SMG. I forgot to mention this. But the last upgrade or the last perk that we used is the FTAC collapsible stock. It helps with ADS speed and movement speed. So more than the close quarter stock or the Forge Tac ultralight. The FTAC collapsible this is a loadout that you'll see a lot of times with MP5s. But I'll show you this screenshot. I'll probably put it up on my Instagram or something. But this is the loadout that I'm going to go with. It's the one I've been using, and it's the one that I found is performing the best during these tests. All right, guys, good stuff. Thanks for checking out the video today. I hope that was helpful. I've used the MP5 an enormous amount. It's one of the first guns I ever got gold. It's a really effective SMG to use in Warzone, and like I said at the beginning of the video, the SMG class is maybe the only class, maybe outside of like snipers. The SMG class is one of the only ones that has had a clear-cut meta for as long as Warzone has been out, and that is the MP5. Now, the MP7 is a close second, but past those two, they beat everything else, and it's not even close. It's not like the ARs where, it changes a little bit. Sometimes it's the Grau, sometimes you even have the Mark 9 Bruin. Sometimes you've got the Kilo, which is currently, on Season 6 where we're at. So the SMGs have consistently been MP5, MP7. So if you use a class, some people, myself included, like to use a sniper SMG combo. You might use an SMG AR combo. The MP5 is definitely where it's at. Give this a shot. And as always, if you've got a variation of this, if you have an MP5 loadout that you really like, be sure to drop it in the comments below. I try to respond to every comment I get on my YouTube videos. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know why you think that. And you can do the very same tests and the same approach that I take in these videos. It's sometimes just as much about trial and error for me as it is sort of proving something that I think I already knew. So go set up a private lobby on multiplayer, tweak some of the attachments, try to come up with a realistic scenario where you can test it out and really see how it performs for you. As always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. If you are a subscriber, thanks for the support. If you're not, hit the subscription button below. It's free. You can find me on all of the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Armored Puma 17. And if you're interested in watching me stream, fb.gg/armoredpuma17. Guys, see you next time.